So, and invariably, exploits like this turn into botnets. Well, perhaps not invariably, but to a large extent, quite often they do. So, Matt, I guess there have been a couple of botnets that were taken down recently. They've gotten a little bit of press around them.
Yep.
Can you give us a little context?
Yeah, so this is great news. So there were two major botnet takedowns in the last week. The first one is the SIMDA botnet, and that was headed up by Interpol and Microsoft's Digital Crimes Unit.
That is the takedown.
The takedown was no. Right. I'm sorry. I did not mean to make any. No. These are the good guys taking down the bad guys.
Yeah.
Not okay. But wow, that was a mistake. So anyway, SIMDA was a botnet that was basically making modifications to host files on individual infected machines and redirecting people's traffic to bad guy servers, which has all sorts of ripe for abuse sort of things, tricking them to phishing, other things. So this was a coordinated takedown with a number of other law enforcement agencies, and it's good news for the community. And so at this point, the only thing left to do is to track and clean up all the infected machines, and Shadow Server is giving out information as to how to do this. Individual users can go to the Interpol website, get information on how to find out if I'm infected, what to do about it. So a big win there. The second one is the AAEH botnet, also known as Bbone, and this takedown was headed up by Europol, again with a number of other law enforcement agencies around the world. Bbone, or AAEH, and I think there's actually several other names, which is common for malware, was a downloader. So it was being installed on machines, and its purpose was primarily to install other malware. So the business model was basically access for other malware to get onto the machine. So again, this one's been taken down. Score one for the good guys. And there's a website out there that you can take a look at that Europol is providing information on. Again, how do I know I'm infected? What do I do if I'm infected? And information is being sent out to track the cleanup of that as well.
Now, considering there are some law enforcement organizations involved in this, no arrests that we're aware of at this point, or?
From what I know, there were no arrests. I believe that at least for the SIMDA botnet, I believe there was intention to pursue the creators of it. But as far as I know, no legal action has been taken against anybody for running these, which is something that you would sort of expect for a coordinated law enforcement run event. That people are starting to learn over time that taking down the software and the infected machines is one thing, but until you get rid of the bad actors behind the botnets, they'll simply start up again with a fresh set of infected machines.
It doesn't really take too much time to transition. I think we'll talk about that in a little bit, right? So I think that's one of the things to keep in mind. The big challenge is finding who's behind these things. Actually, another big challenge behind that is sometimes they're in a place that aren't really accessible by the law enforcement. And so at least the fact that these were through Interpol and Europol, that they are coordinated efforts that are crossing country borders, that's a good sign. But there are still places that are relatively inaccessible from extradition point of view, or to be able to bring it. Now, they didn't sound like they were terribly sophisticated botnets.
So both of these are actually very highly polymorphic. SIMDA they created a new version of that every few hours, whereas Bbone, or AAEH, they actually created a new version as many times as 19 times a day. So this makes it very, very hard for antivirus companies to stay on top of the latest samples when you have to keep tracking new samples.
I just kind of locked in on the fact that it was modifying the host host table, which is basically, that's like sort of the classic thing, that is, if you can modify something, just modify that file, and then you can start redirecting.
It also minimizes the amount of code you actually have to leave on the system. As long as all of the bad stuff is being taken care of on an external server, there's not much to look for. It's kind of like the DNS changer malware we saw a couple years back, where all it was doing was repointing the DNS servers to the same effect, where all of the traffic for that user would be redirected to another place where nefarious things could occur.
And even if the malware gets cleaned up, they're still going to try to go to those.
There's a chance those entries could remain behind.
As part of the remediation.
Yeah, and I think that's perhaps something to share with the audience here. That is, to go mitigating malware to actually move the malware files is one thing, but it's very difficult to identify what all the configuration changes might be. We mentioned just the host table, but there could be all kinds of registration entries that can cause, strange behaviors. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, it's probably best to just re-image the machine and start over. Even if you're backing up the data files and taking the chance that reintroducing those might isn't going to cause a problem on the system, the re-imaging process is really their safest path. So, all right, cool. Well, it's good to see some progress around this. I see, I've seen a lot more evidence that the law enforcement organizations are actively pursuing these. I know the FBI come out with that Operation Clean Slate a while back, and that seems to be continuing to be active, so all good signs.